On average, every American generates nearly 5 pounds of trash per day. But when you're out shopping for groceries, how often do you think about the waste you're about to generate? Do you look for responsibly packaged foods? Does having a recycling symbol on certain products sway your purchasing decision? And have you ever thought about what happens to the trash you generate? In years past, your trash was sent to the dump to rot and pollute our groundwater. With incredible innovations in technology, more than half of our generated trash is recycled, and it never makes it to the landfill. And the garbage that does make it to the dump does a whole lot more than sit and rot. At the Elk River landfill, where they receive 1,500 tons of garbage every day, that garbage is turned into energy. This is Tom Sagstetter. He is the Conservation and Key Accounts Manager for Waste Management in Elk River. One of Tom's roles is to show the public how technology has transformed landfills from being the last stop for garbage to becoming key stakeholders in the future of recycling, energy creation, and how energy is consumed.
And the primary focus of this particular facility is to promote reuse existing materials, recycle, and reduce. And everything in this room has either been reused, recycled, or is a byproduct of somebody downsizing or reducing. For example, the chairs that we have here for the Educational Center are from Elk River High School. Their band room. They were no longer going to use them, and we saw a need for them, and we brought them out here, and they've been here for 10 years. The tables that the students sit around when they're here for educational sessions are made out of recycled cardboard and paper. And in some of the tables, you can still see staples and paper clips and things like that. The technology 10 years ago wasn't quite as good as it is today, and so some of those impurities got in there, so they're a little rusted in there. But technology's gotten better, and we continue to use recycled products more and more.
Because they have fairly immediate value, soda pop bottles and aluminum cans are among many items that never see the inside of a landfill.
The interesting thing about beverage containers is it takes about 90 days from the time you set it out at the curb for pickup to the time it's back on the shelf in a new pop can.
So what happens to the trash that is destined to rot for all eternity? Tom explains how landfills are designed to get one last use from the unusable.
When they're building a landfill or a cell that they're going to fill with garbage, it's kind of like creating a 7-layer salad. Essentially what they do is they will dig down into the earth, and they'll put sand underneath it, and then they'll put this liner. It almost looks like a fiber mat or a landscaping fabric that you put down. But trust me, it's not that thin. It's actually very thick, durable. It's 60 mil plastic. And they fuse it together with heat, so there's no gaps, so water cannot get out. Each cell of garbage is completely encapsulated, and within that cell, like the 7-layer cell I was talking about, there's layers of garbage, there's layers of sand and dirt. They need to cover the municipal solid waste every night with dirt, and part of that is to keep garbage from blowing in the area, and the other is to promote decomposition. And they also layer in pipes that will extract water, rainwater that falls on the landfill, and they will also insert pipes that are that's a collection system for the methane or the gases in the garbage.
The main use of the collected methane gas is to fuel a set of generators that create electrical energy. Tom puts me to work on a special stationary bicycle to explain just how that electricity is created and just how much energy it takes to create energy.
Now we're going to click on a 200 watt incandescent. So he's going to be powering a total of 313 watts. And we're really going to make him work here just for a quick second at 300 watts. So he's going to have a total of 613 watts. And they're kind of dim, so he's going to have to get in shape a little bit more. But we've had enough workout. And now he's back to coasting.
It takes a lot of energy to get those lights turned on.
But the basic principle around electric generation is turning magnets through wires. Now Tom was doing that on the bike. Every time he pedaled, the wheel was turning and it was moving a core or a winding of copper wires through magnets, and that created electricity. Here we're using generators, big engines, 16-valve engines that power a shaft that turn the copper windings through the magnets and creates electricity. And the source of the fuel is the methane gas that comes from the decomposing municipal solid waste. The engines are really pretty much the same as your car engine. They're just a lot bigger. They're 16-cylinder. They're 1,600 horsepower, and they have big radiators just like your car, and that's what's positioned outside the building. Each engine has its own radiator. Each one of those generators is able to produce 8,000 watts of energy. Basically, how they are performing is based on whether they need a tune-up or not. Each one of those engines gets an oil change every month and a half or so, and every year the engines are completely rebuilt on the top side, which what I mean by that is the pistons, the valves, and the heads are all redone once a year, and every 5 years the engine is completely taken out of service. It's kind of a neat thing to watch, but each one of those engines are not fastened to the ground. They're just sitting on the ground. So what they'll do is they'll disconnect all the wires and all the piping, and they'll come with a forklift, slide it out, put it on a truck, and slide a new one in place. And then it goes to an off-site facility and is completely rebuilt from the ground up. This is basically the brains of the facility. This is where all of the electricity comes from after it's generated. There's 4 banks, 1 bank for each engine, and this actually ties it all together, gives us on real-time information on how the engine is performing, and the information that is showed out on the display on the engine itself should match what is showing in this display in this control area. So you can see that generator number 1, which is down on the far side, is producing 794 kW, or 7,930 watts of energy. And now it's up to 800. So that one is should be blinking green, and if I remember correctly, it was green. So that means it's doing well, and it's performing as to be expected.
In addition to the electrical energy gained by burning methane gas, the landfill is actively pursuing future technologies to create energy. One such method is by wind power. Across the street from the landfill, the 660 kilowatt Vestas wind turbine produces 950,000 kilowatts each year.
This is another example of creating electricity through mechanical power. This is a wind turbine, and essentially we harness the wind, and what it does is it turns the rotors, and you can see in this diagram the rotors feed through back to a gearbox that turns the shaft that has the copper windings on it through the magnets and creates electricity. Just like Tom was doing on the bike, we're doing it in wind, and you can also do it that way for hydro dams. Water comes over the dam, goes through a turbine, spins the shaft that spins the copper coils through the magnetic field and creates electricity.
Another technology, which is in use at some landfills right now, captures heat generated from the landfill itself. Tom explains how the rising heat provides power using an amazingly simple concept from a very old technology.
This is what they call a Stirling engine, and it was actually invented back in the 1870s, I think. It was developed by a minister who was sick of seeing his parishioners killed in plant fires, and it's actually can generate electricity from waste heat. So this particular Stirling engine is running based on the heat in my hand, and I'll stop it and then quick start it. But my hand is warming the air on the underside of the piston, which is causing it to expand, and as it pushes up, it pushes the warm air out and cold air comes in. And as it heats again, it pushes the piston up, essentially doing work with little or no energy from an outside source other than my hand. In commercial use, these can be used in nuclear submarines, and there are examples of this technology being used at landfills like the one we're at here today in Elk River to generate electricity using this technology.
So what happens when the landfill reaches maximum capacity? According to Mr. Sagstetter, once capacity is met, the landfill will provide methane gas for another 30 years.
After the cell is full, they put this over the top and then they cover it with a specially designed cap that is a composition of different types of soils, and then they will seed it and grow grass on it, and for the next 30 years that will sit there and produce methane gas for us to burn here at the facility.